And as I always ask you, if you like this reading, please like, subscribe, leave a comment if that's what you'd like to do. And I'm just going to start your reading for Capricorn. So the first card you have your past is the Page of Pentacles. So yeah, I love this card. This is all about newness, freshness, springtime, and there's a mountain behind this page. It's kind of just behind him. It's snow-covered mountain, and of course, you know, when it's springtime, the snow melts and waters the grass, and then the wildflowers grow. And there are wildflowers on this card, just under this man's or this man on this page's feet. So I think you might actually have someone new in your life, or you might have just met someone, might be in the early stages of a relationship. This is obviously a love connection, and maybe you're struggling to see them, or struggling to see as much of them as you'd like. I'm kind of getting that you're not seeing in them as much as you'd like to. You know, you're busy, you're a busy person, you work hard, and you're well organized as well. You know, if you look at this card, there are these there are some crops just to the right of this page, and they've all been sort of planted in rows. And there's also a row of trees behind him, and they're all kind of uniform, all in a row. So someone's planted these things, these trees and the crops and everything, and they've done that on purpose. But with this relationship, that's probably just starting with these wildflowers, things are a lot more organic. This is about human relationships, not work. And I think you're having to go with the flow of this, and you're kind of having to get used to this. Because I'm getting this feeling of just sort of throwing everything up in the air and seeing what happens. And maybe that's what this other person's a bit like. And I think they are. I think they kind of just, oh, go with the flow, whatever, I don't mind. It's fine. They're that kind of laid back kind of a person. And it's the opposite of the way you do things usually. You know, you like to plan, you like to organize things. So I think this is something that you're probably going to have to get used to. You know, they're a good person. I think, you know, that you're going to learn a lot from each other. I think, you know, the pages are students, so they're learning. So I think you both have a lot of learning to do. But the feeling around this is it's very, very positive. I'm getting a really good feeling around this, and there's a lot of promise around this. If you look at the way the page is looking up at this coin, it's like, oh, I'm aspiring to be like this, or to have this, or to do this. I really want this. So I think this person that you're with really, really wants this relationship, and I think you're very happy as well. And it's looking very loving, very promising. That's what I'm seeing. So the next card you have your past, the King of Swords. Yeah, I think this might be how this person sees you, actually, not looks wise, unless you walk around with a sword. Yeah, sorry. So yeah. What I mean by that is you're very logical, you're focused, you do have a spiritual side to you, and it's a really interesting side. I think they're attracted to that side, they like that side of you. But I'm just looking at these two cards together, and I'm just looking at this snowy mountain again, and it's right behind this page, so it's in his past. So you know, you've had some really, really cold people in your past in terms of relationships. You know, you've had people just freeze on you, phase you out, just a lot of cold behavior, not very nice behavior. And I think you can be perceived as being a little bit cold as well sometimes, because you're so logical. But you're not like that at all. You're the opposite on the inside. You're very warm, you're loving, and you give a lot to people. You give everything to people, actually. But I think sometimes, I'm not here to criticize you, so don't think I am, but I think you like to see progress in relationships, just like you do in work, in other areas, if you like. You plan, and you like to map it out and see the progress. And, you know, you like to measure things, you like to measure you know, how things are going and all of that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you know, this is looking really promising, this relationship, I think. So just try to take your time with this, let it grow organically, like these wildflowers. You know, they're not flowers that someone's planted, they're just wild. So try not to put too many expectations on this or pressure, just let it go as it is, let it flow. Because I'm seeing a lot of really beautiful things happening for you in this relationship. but they're a really easygoing person, I think, and they're probably also not that well organized. They just kind of let it flow. So seeing that as well. So this is going to be really good for you to kind of relax a little bit more, getting used to this person, and it's going to be good for them too, because they're going to be inspired by you as well. So this is really good. It's looking really good, actually. So the last card you have your past is the Six of Swords. Yeah, I think taking things really slowly, I think that's going to be really good for you. I'm seeing that again in this card, because I think you're definitely over these old relationships, these old situations. You've moved on, like these people in this card are moving on. But I think you still carry a little bit of old baggage with you. You've kept a little bit of that anxiety. You carry that around with you still a little bit. It's kind of like, oh, this person seems great, this new person, but I remember this old person seemed great as well, and then they went cold on me, so it could happen again. And yeah, I think you're also ignored in the past as well, so you're kind of really a little bit sensitive about that happening again. That's what I'm seeing. So yeah, you still have a bit of healing to do. I think you're a really strong person, and I think you've helped yourself a lot. And I think this new person's helping you as well, just by their more relaxed nature, with their relaxed kind of attitude, if that makes sense. So I think it is really good that you're slowly getting used to this. You're kind of feeling more comfortable around the way they are. So, if you are taking your time with someone, if this is resonating, you're right to be doing this. And again, I keep on seeing a lot of positivity around this. I'm seeing that all through your past. A lot of positive energy around this relationship, so it's looking really positive. I think you're a really good match. Sometimes opposites attract, and you can really learn from each other. That's what I'm seeing now. So the first card you have for your present is Temperance, and I love this. This is one of my absolute, I actually think this is my favorite card. Okay, so, and it can be really complex. It can be very, very different. There are so many different things in there, so yeah, it's very, very complex. So yeah, I hope I can explain this properly to you, what I'm seeing in this card. Okay, so what I'm seeing in the Page of Pentacles, and I know this as well, I know this about you, is you're quite a sensitive person, actually. You're a very, very sensitive person. Not in a bad way, you don't go around being offended at every tiny thing that everyone says. Not in that way. It's like you bring a lot in. You bring a lot of emotion in. You bring a lot of feelings in from everything else around you. You really feel things. You're very sensitive. For example, you're very sensitive to music. I think you really feel it. Some people can have, certain kinds of music on, and if you're in a really sensitive mood and they catch you at this time, when this music is on, it's almost like you can't bear to hear it at times, and then at other times you love hearing it. So you're very sensitive to that. And you have a lot of creativity inside you as well. And a lot of people don't see that side of you either, because you have this logical thing, and that's what they see. Yeah, and with creative people, truly creative people, they need an outlet. They need to get their emotions out, because they absorb so much, they bring so much in, that they need to let it out. And I think that's what you need to do. Just as a side thing, I think that's probably why a lot of these really talented musicians, artists, actors, and everything like that, they end up having mental health problems sometimes, and drug problems sometimes, and all that kind of thing. Not always, of course, but you hear of so many people having these problems, really talented people. Now, I'm not saying you're going to have these problems, but what I am seeing is you do need an outlet. You need some way to get that out of you, whether that's writing, whether that's painting, music, whatever. You need to really try to get to that out in some way. Now, I think you used to have an outlet, and maybe because you've been so busy or whatever, you might have let that slide. You might have put that to one side. Because I am seeing a need for this. It's a need. You need to have this outlet. You might have to go back to the old thing you used to do, or find a new thing. But if this is resonating, try to find whatever that is again, or something. Just spending half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever. Find that bit of time every day if you can to do that. I think that's really going to help you let a lot of these emotions out into something new and productive and interesting. So the next card you have here present is the Empress. Yeah, again, this is all about nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself. And what I'm seeing here is you might also be taking care of other people. I'm seeing more than one person, as well as doing your work, as well as everything else. If you look at the crown on this Empress, there are 12 stars in her crown representing the 12 signs of the zodiac. So she cares about everyone, every single person. So you're caring with more than one person. And, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. Caring for people is a good thing. But I think the message here is that I think you need to put self-care ahead of these people sometimes and these things sometimes. So just have a think about that if that resonates. I think you're happy to help certain people on one level, but I am seeing some people who might want to take that further and further by kind of asking you to do more and more and asking for more and more of your time. So again, this is kind of carrying on for what I'm seeing in the Temperance card. Book some time in for yourself and put that in first and spend that time on yourself. And then when other people start to say, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? Can I see it? Then just say, no, I'm booked out in that time. I'm busy in that time. But, between this and this time, I'm available. But, outside of that time, I'm not. So really book in that time and be really organized about that. Don't let people kind of push you, because these kinds of things can really creep up on you. That's what I'm seeing. It happens to me all the time. I'm terrible for that. So the last card you have here present is, the Seven of Cups. This is a really tricky card. It can be about difficult choices. It can be about confusion. Sometimes it can be about being deluded. And, obviously this man's in the dark. He's like a silhouette. He's watching these cups. So I'm getting this feeling of watching something or hearing something, or hearing someone say something. So you might be seeing or hearing something. It might be on social media actually. And I'm actually seeing someone who you used to be really close to, or you thought you're close to them, but there's a lot of disappointment here and even some bewilderment, I think. Someone really hurt you and they sort of just left you there holding on to all that hurt. They kind of disappeared and left you. That's what I'm seeing. It's really horrible. I'm not seeing a love connection. I think this might be a friend or an ex-friend or an ex-relative, someone you don't see. But I think at this time when you were with them, I think you did a lot for them. And I think even back then when you helped them, you might have felt as if, hold on a minute, I'm doing all this for them. They're not appreciating me. That's the thing I'm getting. They're not appreciating me. They're ignoring me. I'm doing all this for them. And it's all one-sided. That's what I'm seeing. And I think they might still be dismissing all of that in a way, or acting as if you didn't do anything and they did everything. It's something like that. And maybe that's what you're seeing on social media or wherever you're seeing this. And I think it's subtle. I think it's a little bit indirect, if that makes sense. But to you, it's very clear. You know exactly what they're talking about. So it's very sad to see this, very, very disappointing. Now, I think, again, for your own self-care and your own protection, if this is on social media, which is what I think it might be, mute them if you can, block them even, just don't look at whatever they're doing or saying. It's not going to make any difference. It's just going to hurt you. So if you keep on looking at this, you're just going to feel worse. You're not going to be able to do anything. I don't think you can say anything to them. They're not going to change. So don't look at this. Don't listen to this. And if you're getting this information, if you're hearing this from other people, if this is coming through other people, talk, gossip or whatever, just ask them not to talk about this person. And if they keep on talking about them, you might have to keep your distance from them as well for a while. So, if this is resonating, really what I'm seeing in all this in your present is that I just want to see you being a lot more self-caring and self-nurturing. I'm seeing that all over here. So try to do that. Carve out some time for yourself just to care about yourself. Have an outlet to let things out and block out things that are hurting you and that aren't good for you to see. That's what I'm seeing. So the first card you have for your future is the Nine of Wands. Okay, so I'm seeing your determination here. This is all about determination. And this is around work. This is around, okay, I always see this in your readings. This is some kind of project, something you're doing. Yeah, I've been seeing this for a while. So you're very determined. You're very determined to keep on going with this. And I'm really glad to see this because I've been seeing this in your readings for a long, long time. I always see this. And I've been seeing eventual success with this. So it's really good to see that you're still keeping up with this. And I think this time in your future might actually be the time when you really, really start to ramp things up with this. You'll be putting a lot of work into this now. I think you've had a few stops and starts, but now I think you'll have a much clearer road ahead of you. You won't have any of these roadblocks ahead of you. And this is also because you're very determined. You're going to put some barriers up like this man. I think in the past when you tried to carve out some time to work on this, you had all kinds of interruptions. You had phones ringing, people trying to talk to you, ask you things. I don't know whether this is something you're doing, from home. Maybe you're working from home on this. Because I'm seeing some people with, they might not respect that. There's kind of an attitude of, well, you're at home, you're not working. I can talk to you. I can do this. I can come in. I can have a cup of tea and talk to you all day. That's not the case. You're there to work wherever you are, whether you're at home, in the library, in an office, whatever, you're there to work. So I think this time you're determined to do this. You're not letting that happen. You're going to have, phones off, doors shut and all of that. So you're very, very determined this time. And I think that's what's going to make this happen a lot quicker for you this time. So the next card you have for your future is the Eight of Wands. Yeah, this is fantastic. Again, this is really going to ramp up. This is the perfect time for you to be working on this. Yeah, you're going to get a lot done. Look how quick this is. This is the fast card. So you might even finish this. There's so much progress here. It's happening really, really quickly. And you're not going to have much time for a lot of other things. And of course, that means you probably won't have much time for this relationship at this time. You're still going to be in touch with them. You're still going to see them whenever you can, but you're going to be really focused on this. And I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem for them. They're quite laid back. They don't mind. Of course, they're going to miss you, but I keep on getting this impression of them as being kind of like, oh, I'm just laid back. Whatever happens, happens. It's fine. I don't mind. They're a very, very self-assured person, which is really good. They're not like anxious about, oh no, they're not spending time with me. They don't like me. They're not like that at all. They're just like, okay, that's fine, which is fantastic. And for you, I think this is going to be really good as well because for this relationship, because this is going to sort of force you to go with the flow and just let things happen in the time that they should, because you're not going to have time to sit there worrying about what they're doing. You're just going to be working, so that's going to be good as well. I'm also seeing someone coming to visit. I don't think they're staying with you, but I think they're coming from quite far away. Sometimes this card can be about flying aircraft, so they might be coming from another country even. And I'm seeing family around this as well, so you might be going to some family events or family gatherings to see this person. And yeah, there's positivity around this. I think you really like this person. So yeah, this is looking really good. This is looking really good. I like this. Okay, so the last card you have for your future is Justice. Okay, so I think this is about this person in the Seven of Cups who's kind of saying kind of nasty things or whatever they're doing on social media or talking. Yeah, I don't think you need to worry about them actually. I think they've actually done this to a few other people as well. they don't treat people fairly. That's what this card's all about, fairness, justice. It's a bit sad really, because I think they start out well in friendships and then they kind of end up taking a lot more than they give. So it's not just you, there's a string of other people that they've done this to as well. It's very sad actually, but you know, if this is resonating, just know you're not alone. And again, for your own peace of mind, don't watch what they're doing, don't listen to what they're saying. I think sooner or later this is all going to catch up with them, because you know, you can't keep on doing this. You can't keep on taking without giving and then pretending that you're the one that's done everything and saying nasty things about people and all of that. You can't keep doing that over and over again without people, someone somewhere, eventually catching up with you and saying something or calling you out. So, but yeah, take care of yourself in the meantime, protect yourself. You know, generally this is looking really, really good, especially with this new relationship. So I'm really happy. I really hope that bit's resonating with you anyway. So Capricorn, I hope this resonated. I really do, because it's really nice, mostly this reading. But you know, as you know, general readings can't always resonate with everyone. But again, if you like this reading, please like, subscribe, leave a comment if you'd like to, and thank you so much for watching.